What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Apologies for the poor video quality here. This is just something that I sort of wanted to relay off y'all, just to sort of see what you guys think. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while, but I'm not quite sure if you guys have the same thoughts. So I wanted to talk about why Hasbro seems to be failing as a business. So I have a couple things to get into, so go ahead and cue that intro. Alright, so Hasbro has been a brand that's been around for 40 years and counting. That's a lot of experience in releasing toys. Hasbro doesn't just release Transformers, but we're just going to be talking about Transformers just for the sake of simplicity. So, obviously, within the past few years, they've been making some interesting decisions. Obviously, they've laid off a ton of employees, and they've cut off making movies to pursue games, but the games have been canceled because reasons. So I think as Transformers fans, we're not really sure what's going on with what the corporation thinks is happening. We don't really know what's going on. But here are a few things that I'm noticing that's happening that might be contributing to why Hasbro's failing as a business when it comes to selling Transformers. So obviously, the first thing is the raising of prices. That doesn't just go for your Chug toys, that's going for children's toys. I saw Perspective N's video on the new toy line, Cyberworld, and he made a really good point. And I think we've been talking about this for a while, where the children's toys are too expensive. Fans are paying too much. We can't bring new fans in if this child is saving up all their allowance to buy this toy and it's junk.
Bruh.
What is a child going to think about that? And obviously an adult's not going to want to pay $16 for a crappy little piece of junk. Hasbro's cheaping out. They know that too. You see all the holo gaps. Obviously you've seen the Cyberworld toys. They stink. Let's not beat around the bush here. So when they release this new and highly exciting toy line with this show, that I've heard is only going to be on YouTube. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't really get what's going on there. They always say, especially with Earthspark, where they're like, what the heck? Stuff's not selling. Well, no crap. Your stuff is ridiculously overpriced. Nobody wants to buy that. It's crazy. And that's just the children's toys aspect. Obviously, within the past few years, our Chug stuff has gone up like a rocket, it feels like, because 5 years ago, back in the War for Cybertron trilogy, we were paying $20 a deluxe. Now we're at $27 without tax. We're almost at $60 for liters. That's absurd. It used to be a thing where a liter is something that you can realistically save up for. You can get a couple liters. They're $35 back in the day. Now I get inflation exists, but you can't tell me that 60 doesn't seem like a lot for an MSRP. Like, after tax, after everything's all said and done, I'm ordering my Age of the Primes Megatronus on Amazon, mind you, and it's almost $60. That's ridiculous. No wonder people are not collecting this stuff anymore, because it's too expensive. And I'm not going to talk about the tariffs because this is not politics, but honestly, if you want to hear my opinion, I don't think the CEO knows what he's doing anyway, so I'm not really quite sure what to think. But yeah, I don't get why they're raising the prices. It just doesn't make sense. I think fans are getting tired of paying this much. Now, obviously, yes, they're releasing some great stuff as of lately, but they're getting more and more expensive. Now that brings me to my next thing, which is quality. So again, I'm going to go back to the Unicron trilogy just because it's been a good example. You guys know that the Unicron trilogy has been known for big, beefy figures, not really known for the engineering aspect, but more of an enjoyable toy. And I think that's what made it so popular as a line. Obviously, I really enjoy it. You can't see it, but it's over there. I've got 3 shelves dedicated to the Unicron trilogy. I love those toys through and through, and I think the fact that they were actual toys, I think that really helps. I think that's what Hasbro might need to bring back, and I think they might need to, if they're going to take some losses and make some really good, solid toys with fun gimmicks, I think that's what can really make them some money. If they take that risk, I think if they try to model their toys after that, I think they can really make some money, because not only are you bringing new children into this franchise, you're also bringing older fans that are saying, hey, that's familiar. And I think that would be a really good thing for the line. But as of lately, the quality has not been up to par. Now, I'm a huge fan of the 86 Devastator, but I can admit, I think they're cutting some corners here and there. I'm still excited for it, but I think that they're not doing as much as they should. They're not. You could be the biggest 86 Devastator fan, and you could say, hey, yeah, they're not doing what they should be doing. Now, obviously, I still think the Commander price is fine, but I think my issue really falls under the Voyagers. Now, Bone Crusher, I think, is fine for being a little deluxe, a combiner limb. Sure, he could have been better, so what? Scrapper, on the other hand, has no excuses for anything. I don't care if he has a ratchet. We have other toys that come with ratchets, and we're not paying $10 extra for all this, right? So, I'm just trying to sort of get around this and try to figure it out for me. But I mean, if there's a reason why stuff is so expensive nowadays when it comes to that, and if you can give me a solid reason, if the quality is really that much better, sure, we've gotten better in terms of engineering, but is it worth the $10 extra being paid? 5 to 10 depending on where you live. So I don't know, it's obviously worth it to you if you think it's worth it, but for me, it's starting to become questionable. Again, $60 almost for a leader. Doesn't that feel like a lot to you guys? I don't know. Alright, so the third thing I wanted to talk about is kind of weird. So, I kind of don't like the lack of innovation. Now, they're sort of turning it around with the Age of the Primes line, but it's also just Combiner Wars V2, so they're just milking the Combiner Wars again. I'm so down for that, but how many more times can you do that is really the question, and I think fans are starting to get tired of this. This is one thing that really grinds my gears, and I know you guys can relate it. So, let's just think about this. Kingdom Blaster. We're all like, heck yeah, Kingdom Blaster's the bomb! Like, 2-3 years later, 86 Blaster. Correct color scheme. 86 Perceptor. 2 years later. Correct color scheme. We're getting a daggum 86 Astro Train. We're getting a 86 Galvatron, where we already got that, with all these correct colors. Heck, we're getting freaking Rodimus apparently, and we're all sitting here, we're like, well dang, that looks pretty good, but I already got this. So I think that creates a divide within your fans, where I know you have a certain budget to where you have to make certain things, but a lot of the fans are going to skip out on this. If you're just not going to really release it right the first time, then people are not going to get it. And if you release it right the second time, then sure, some people are going to get it that they missed out on it. And maybe like a 10%, 5% of these might double up. But odds are, a lot of people aren't going to buy this. And again, these useless reissues and repaints that nobody wants, like Overcharge. Sorry to the 2 Overcharge fans out there. Sorry. And pointless reissues like Strong Arm. Sorry that you had to get the money out of the mold. You're going to make 10 times the money on releasing Breakdown or Beachcomber. So people want that. Listen to your fans. They've been doing better because that last wave of Legacy was strictly of fan requested figures. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. But another good thing that I wanted to bring up is third party. Now, I think a great example of this is the New Age Megatron, the Romulus. I was able to handle one at TFCon thanks to one of my supporters. Thank you. You know who you are. So he let me mess around with that thing. Yes, he was too small, but a lot of people bought that thing as their Megatron. Personally, I'm waiting out for the 86 because I want it to scale with my collection. But you can start to see that people are turning their heads and they're like, hey, they can make some good stuff, man. And I think that if third parties start to do that, that's really going to give Hasbro a run for their money. And maybe that's what they need to start, cutting down and making some good stuff. I'm not saying they're making bad stuff, but I think obviously when it comes to the economy, competition always helps because it's pushing each company to their best. And I think that might be what Hasbro needs. Now, my last thing that I wanted to talk about was the corporate decisions. Obviously, the games, the movies, just the constant failures and the weird decisions that they're making. I mean, I could name so many, but you know them. Obviously, not doing movies anymore to pursue games. So we're like, okay, you know what? That means Reactivate. Let's go. Reactivate gets canceled. We're like, okay. So, what games are you making? Oh, this little mobile game and more updates for Earth Wars. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there because nobody's getting excited over that. I think a lot more people would be excited and invested in your movies and in your new games that you've been hyping up for the past whoever knows how many years. Like with Reactivate, I think you're going to make a lot more money there. You're going to get a lot more fan support there than an update to Earth Wars. So, obviously, again, more corporate decisions. They didn't market TF1 at all. No wonder that thing flopped. That was a great movie. The fan reception of that movie was fantastic. We finally got what we wanted. And guess what? They skipped out again. Now, I want to say this because I don't dislike Hasbro. You look at my collection right now, 95% of it is composed of Hasbro figures. So I love Hasbro figures, but I also wanted to get this off my chest and talk to you guys about it because this is an issue that's been pressing the fandom for a while now. So I just wanted to talk about it for a little. And if there's any points that I didn't touch on that you want me to touch on, let me know down in the comments. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But with that being said, I'll see you guys on Saturday for the biggest custom you've ever seen. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
That being said, Stellaris